In today's video, I'm going to be playing ladder with Giant Graveyard. It has been pretty broken these last few months. Alright, here we go. In our first game here, there's three big reasons why I like using Giant Graveyard right now. Not only is it really strong, it's really fun to play too, and it's also really easy to play. So for those three reasons, that is why I'm using it in this video. It is just so strong in this meta. Like, if you guys are looking for a deck that's easy to pick up, this is definitely what it's going to be. I mean, it's just in the name. It's called Giant Graveyard for a reason, because you're constantly going in for Giant Graveyard pushes. And it's actually different than other Graveyard decks, because a lot of other Graveyard decks, you don't even want to play the Graveyard until double or even triple Elixir. But with Giant Graveyard, oftentimes you can go in for the Graveyard in single Elixir. Just go Giant Graveyard all in early on, and if they don't have the right cycle, you literally can take their whole tower. So we're going to go Giant here to try to defend this Musketeer. Hopefully I timed that properly. Yeah, I think I did. There we go. Good stuff over there. So he's got the bowler. So this is actually one of these scenarios where I'm literally straight up just going to go for a Graveyard. Yeah, it's aggressive, but he cycled a bowler and, you know, he went barbs there. The Graveyard's not going to get a ton of damage, probably. The barbs are actually a fairly good counter to the Giant. We are going to have to watch out against that. But look at how much damage the Graveyard got. Like, he literally had a good answer, but it didn't even matter. He had a good answer to the Giant, but the Graveyard on the back end just gets loads of chip damage. Like, it literally doesn't even matter. That's the thing, right? So it's like, if they have a good counter to the Graveyard, your Giant's getting a lot of damage, and then vice versa. If they have a good counter to the Giant, your Graveyard's getting the job done. So it's like, you're alright either way. That is why Giant Graveyard is so difficult to counter. You have to worry about both of the win conditions, not just one. So we're going to go Giant here. Once again, we're going to do the same thing. This is another thing the deck is all about, doing the same thing over and over again. You kind of just... And that's why it's easy to learn. I mean, you're doing the same plays majority of the game. Once you figure out what you're playing against, it's kind of like just the same play style. So he went for that there. We could actually just go arrows. That's just going to probably clean everything up. Yeah, it's literally going to take the tower. So now we're going to go Little Prince. We should probably be able to defend. Up, he's got a Graveyard himself, but we are kind of chilling here. Pop the ability with the Little Prince, and yeah, that is pretty much a wrap. Wow, yeah, that was pretty easy. Game one over here. Giant Graveyard versus Giant Graveyard. I think we had the more superior variant, I have to say. By the way, if you don't have the evolved archers, you could use the evolved bats, or you could use Skeleton Army. You could use Skeleton Army, and you still have two air counters, Little Prince and Minions. There's so many different variations of Giant Graveyard you can use. There's even a variant with Musketeer. So that's kind of the nice thing about the deck, too. Tons of variety, even for free-to-play players. Alrighty, we're in a game against Papa Yain. Do not think I pronounced that properly at all, but it is whatever. He's going to go Lava in the back first play. So know what we're going to do? We're going to go Giant. Opposite lane. Lava's a free matchup for Giant Graveyard. I'll have you guys know. Super free matchup. Because you got tons of air counters. So this guy, yes, he does have the Barbarians again. I am going to have to arrow this. And then we're going to go Little Prince. I'm telling you guys, though, because we have Little Prince, Minions, and the Archers, it's too many air counters for him to deal with. Oh, yeah, and then you can't forget about the Snowball as well, which is amazing against the Balloon. Pushing back the Balloon, slowing it down, buying you tons of time, and then he doesn't have a lot of counters to defend the Graveyard either. So kind of just everything's going our way. I didn't use the Little Prince ability because I had a feeling he was going to go for the Tombstone, and it would have been pretty much pointless. So glad I didn't waste that. We're just going to go Archers in the back here and see what he wants to do from there. Maybe he Lavas again. I don't know if he does. That wouldn't necessarily be a bad play because he's got the Evo Barbs, which are just going to wreck the Giant. But we're still going to go in the other lane anyway. Pop a Little Prince with it as well. And he might go for the Barbarians. There they are. That's completely fine, though, because now he doesn't have a lot of Elixir to support his Lava Push. And he still kind of has to defend as well. Because I'm going to use the Little Prince Guardian if he decides to support the Lava. So it's going to be a tower trade anyway. And tower trades are pretty good with Giant Graveyard. In almost every single matchup, a tower trade is a good thing. That's a good thing to remember. Good thing to remember that if you lose a tower with this deck, it is completely fine as long as you get theirs. This is not one of those decks where you have to be worried about losing one of their... So you see here, I'm not worried. I'm not worried. This is a great situation for me. I want to make that very clear. In fact, I can just graveyard here, and it's going to take his tower. Pretty much 100%. It's going to take his tower. I decided to not go Giant Graveyard to commit a ton of Elixir to take it, because I can just go for 5 and take it right there. See, that was the kind of a nice thinking there. A bit of a strategic play, I guess you can say. Because maybe some Giant Graveyard players there would have gone for the massive overcommitment and, you know, wasted Elixir they didn't need to. So, I mean, maybe that shows that Giant Graveyard does require a couple brain cells after all. I mean, even if it isn't the most skillful deck in the world, at least you know, you need to understand a thing or two. Let's put it that way. Can't just do whatever you want the whole game. Just go minions here. He's going miner. I think we're gonna get ready for a another Giant Graveyard push pretty soon here. Want to go in here, and he is going to go for the barbs. We're going to get a snowball ready here. Unfortunately, snowball doesn't hit the Inferno Drag. That kind of blows a bit. But look at all those skellies chipping away on the tower, and just like that, that is going to be arrow snowball range when we do end up getting back to the snowball here. Why do I sound like I'm a sports commentator the way I'm talking right now? We are going to go for a snowball. That's going to be GG. Alrighty, here we go. This guy's got a Skarmy, so we're going to go Dark Prince here. Top of the Skarmy should be a pretty adequate counter to that, I would say. And you know what we're going to do? We're just going to go Giant at the bridge. We're going to go minions behind and see what he wants to do. So he's got a log minions, wizard. Okay, your typical mid-ladder deck. Well, Wizard, I will say, does pretty good against the minions, so this is a little obnoxious. That Wizard did end up getting some pretty good value there, and I'm not a huge fan of that. Hog Wizard, okay. It is literally just your typical mid-ladder deck. I mean, hey, it's good for you guys to see, because this is the type of thing you guys are going to run into if you decide to run this deck at, I don't know, around 7,000 trophies, or even at 8,000, you're still getting wild decks like this constantly. With the whole trophy road system being different, I don't even know what mid-ladder is considered nowadays. A lot of people are saying 6,000, even 6,500 is mid-ladder right now. I genuinely don't even know. Maybe you guys know, could let me know in the comments. It's probably around like 6,500 though, if I had to say. It's just different than what it used to be when it was like 5K. I'm going to test the waters with a Giant. I was considering going Graveyard. I'm glad I didn't, because that Skarmy would have just wrecked everything, so really glad I didn't do that. Instead, he goes minions, so he does have to commit his fair share of Elixir defending that Giant there, so I'm happy to see that. And then we'll go for the archers here. Alright, he's going to go for the hog. That was pretty predictable, to be fair. I kind of had a feeling he was going to do that. And he decided to zap, which I don't know how I feel about that zap. Didn't really get too much value there, I'd say. He just used his log, so I'm kind of tempted to go Giant Graveyard here. Try to quickly snowball the Skarmy. That's probably our best bet. And then arrow the minions. That is my plan. Let's try to pull it off here. So we go Giant Graveyard. There's the snowball on top of the Skarmy. And like I was saying, there's the arrows for the minions, guys. You can't make this up. This deck is just so it's just like so, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It's just so like basic in a way. It's like, you know, it's so easy to understand what you want to do, you know? It's just like, you save, well, you want to save the snowball for that, save the arrows for that, and that's the main brain processing you're doing with this deck. I mean, it really is that simple, you know? You don't have to think about a whole lot. So just want to really emphasize that when you are running this deck. So he is going to go for the miner and the hog. That was, you know, really predictable once again. You know, that's the thing with a lot of these guys that run this type of deck, mid-ladder decks like this. Very predictable, so pick up on the patterns and what they do. Anyways, really fun deck. Give it a try. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.